Hello everybody and welcome back to Conor here on Leeds TV after what can only be described as probably the most mental game of the season. Look, listen, I haven't got anything written down. I can't be bothered with that. There's no point. I'm just going to go through the game just like bit by bit from what I can remember. I'm sure if I miss anything out, you guys will comment in the section below. Villa fans, hello. I'm sure a lot of you are here to comment on the videos, Leeds, scum, etc, etc. But let's just go through the game. How do I feel it went in general? I think that Leeds played really, really well. I was really impressed. There was a definite bounce back from Wigan and Brentford, you know. I was saying to my dad on the way down in the car, I was saying, do you know what? If you look at it realistically, is there any shame in going to Brentford and losing? I don't think there is. 15 games unbeaten at home. And, you know, like this lot who came down to Ellen Road today, there is no shame in losing to a top side. But at the end of the day, the Wigan game is where we faltered. Sheffield United promoted now. And fair play to you, you know, only lost 2 since Boxing Day. Norwich only lost 2 since Boxing Day. So probably deserve to go up both sides. So fair play, Norwich and Sheffield United. Leeds United now look to the playoff places. But the game started and it was a bit, you know, meandering. Shout out to Liam Horsley. Managed to get me in a box for this game, which was a really incredible experience. And I definitely recommend it to any Leeds fan if you want to do that. It's a really first-class experience. And thank you to Liam for that. But it sort of meandered, and I was talking to Liam about it, and the game didn't really hit the dizzy heights that we sort of wanted it to hit straight away. You know, Leeds maybe going at them from the off. There was a lot of poor balls in the final third, and how many times have we heard that this season? It's been sort of meandering to nothingness, really, the final third, and a lot of balls been played over the top. Once again, I'd probably have to criticise Jack Harrison. You know, at the end of the day, he might be young, but he's a footballer. So, you know, you can criticise him. And I hate that sort of argument of, well, he's only, you know, this year, 17, 18, 19-year-old. You know, the guy's 22, 23 years old, as someone informed me. He's viable for criticism. He's just not good enough. He's not good enough for this Leeds United team. If we want promotion, for me, the kid's just not good enough. He doesn't retain the ball well, doesn't keep a hold of the ball well, and a lot of play does break down on that left-hand side. And I do think, you know, even when we change up the left side, you know, the left backs, which we have done infinitely quite a bit this season, I don't feel Harrison gives us enough going forward, and even defensively, I think he looks a bit sluggish. So I'm not criticising him, but that is something that did change in the second half. And something that I was very happy changed in the second half. But, you know, let's get on to that in a little bit. Yeah, I thought the game was plateauing, as I say. Villa weren't really doing much. Leeds weren't really doing much. Us controlling the game as we normally do. Villa had a couple of chances, but to be honest, I think Kiko made them look very, very sort of decent chances. I think a lot of, like, you know, TV saves where he was diving, you know, really far over where he didn't really need to. It was sort of like a simple header, for example, from Codger, you know, and it sort of was reenacted as if it was a brilliant sort of Kieran Westwood save versus Jack Harrison for that Wednesday game, but it wasn't like that. I don't feel Villa really had anything, but listen, the second half, everything completely changed. But I would like to just comment on, obviously, a little bit of the problems I thought that were going throughout the game. I think Stuart Atwell, the worst referee I've ever seen at Ellen Road, the worst referee, bar none. And it summed up at the end of the first half when Leeds were actually cutting through Aston Villa. We got into the box and he blew the halftime whistle, which I've never seen. I've never seen a team on the counter attack in stoppage time and the referee actually blowing for half-time. I've never, ever seen that. And you sort of got throughout the first half that Atwell was there to make it all about himself. Once again, another superstar referee coming down to Ellen Road and trying to make the game all about himself for whatever agenda he's got against Leeds, potentially an agenda against Villa as well. But, you know, he was definitely Villa's 12th man in that first half. The amount of fouls he was given against Leeds, and a lot of people are going to come on here and say, yeah, well, Leeds, you are dirty so-and-sos. At the end of the day, it was working both ways, guys. I can tell you that. From being at the game, Tyrone Mings was getting up and about every single Leeds player, leaving stuff in on Bamford, leaving stuff in on Harrison. So it wasn't just one way. We'll get onto the incidents in a little bit anyway, but you know, that first half, it was a poor one from Leeds, but we contained Villa. They didn't really do anything. Got into that second half, and it all changed. Leeds were coming out like we used to do. You know, we came out. Villa couldn't really get a touch of the ball, I thought, for the first 20 minutes. I thought Leeds were on it. We were brilliant. Once again, not really carving out a decent chance. But, you look at that Villa back line, guys. That Villa back line has conceded 5 goals in 10 games. And the implementation of Tuanzebe and Tyrone Mings has made them so much better. And you could see that, I do think they're there to be got out on the wings, though, and I really do. And I think, Leeds play them in the playoffs, and I think we could hurt them there, definitely. We've got the implementation potentially of Izzy Brown off the bench. You saw him warming up today. You saw Matthias Bogus warming up today. Those two sort of starlets, maybe with Brown in particular being on the bench. That is something that we could be looking at for the playoffs potentially. As maybe like an impact sub, an impact change. But they're definitely there to be got out on the wings. I do not rate El Mohammadi at all. I think he's average. And we saw when Clark came on in the game at Villa Park. You get at Villa down that side, they can't handle it. They cannot handle it, and I still think they're weak at the back. Not sure on Neil Taylor. I thought when we got at Taylor in this game, he's not physical. He's not good enough. I don't think he's pacey. But, at the back two, Tuanzebe and Mings in particular, Mings is sort of like the Van Dijk of the Championship, and he's just a good player. Him and Hector are definitely the standouts of what I've seen this year in the Championship centre-half wise. But, it started, and it's obviously a lot of fouls, a lot of Grealish throwing himself to the floor as per usual. But if you expect that. You expect that. I've always come on this channel and rated Jack Grealish. I think he's a very, very good player. You keep him quiet, and you do well. And you have got to give Calvin Phillips the man of the match for that game, because that for me is the first time. I've got family down in Birmingham as well who follow Villa, and for me, and obviously with watching a little bit of Villa here and there, going to and from down Birmingham and stuff like that, you see a little bit of Grealish. And when he's in that roaming position, he's very, very good. Very good. Getting it on the back foot, turning out, essentially drawing fouls. He does that so well, gets his back against the opposition player, and they ultimately create a foul. And the referees create a massive sort of like a dome around Grealish, and they always have to, but they do that every single game. When he goes to the ground, similarly to Ayling, actually, Ayling can win a foul really, really well, and he did that in the corner actually with Grealish. Ayling wins a foul very well, but Grealish is the best at it. He is the best at winning fouls. He's so good at it, and he's so good at doing it in dangerous situations, and 9 times out of 10 in the past 10 games, Villa have profited from that. But Calvin Phillips was immense today. Absolutely immense. Man of the match. He controlled Grealish. Grealish, I didn't even know was in the game. Genuinely, he was quiet, a spectator, didn't do anything. Couple of runs. Obviously, the Ellen Road crowd were on top of him, and that's obviously definitely going to play a part in your game, But I genuinely thought he wasn't good today. I don't think, from watching Grealish for a while, don't think he was good today. Don't think he impacted the game. I think, if you're looking at some of the midfield, potentially John McGinn had a bigger impact on the game than Grealish did. But I thought we worked well. Tactically, we matched them. I thought Forshaw, Cleek, and Calvin, I thought matched their midfield, McGinn, Hourihane and Grealish. I thought we matched them, and we matched them again. You look at it, guys, holistically, that's 4. Villa haven't beaten us this season, and you may say that's an omen for them to do something in the playoffs, but we are hard to beat when we're like that, and we always play better against the big teams. That's why I'm sort of looking forward to this playoff race. Leeds against the bigger teams and the better teams, we are better. You look at all of those games, 2 legs over this season. We've only lost to West Brom, and that was that game where we were just absolutely pulverised by Harvey Barnes. So it's one of those where there's a lot of good things that have come out of that game. There's fire in the belly now. That I saw fire in that team, and I saw that one word that I love to hear, shithousery. Villa were so good at it. They're so good at it. Literally, you would see Tyrone Mings running 30, 40 yards every time a decision was made to get in the referee's ear. And we knew that was coming from Villa, because they've got players who've been at that top level where every single player does the exact same. We don't have enough of that. But you saw that a little bit more today. You saw a little bit more fighting for the cause, and I saw that a little bit more today with Leeds. I like that, Calvin Phillips, Forshaw, busy around the referee, because at the end of the day, guys, the opposition's doing it. You saw it a lot with Sheffield United as well. You saw it a lot with Norwich when they Kentwell Road, but we don't have that. And I think sometimes our players are too honest. But at the end of the day, we went there, and when we were playing Villa today, we did exactly that. We're buzzing around the referee. John McGinn and Hourihane were constantly in the referee's ear. I was actually doing a player cam on McGinn in particular, always in the referee's ear, always, and I was stunned it took the referee that long to book him. But, I don't really want to go into every single incident. I'm going to kind of briefly touch over them. But, obviously there was the incident with Cooper on Grealish. There's two sides to that. I've seen it slowed down since I was at the game. When I was at the game, it looked like a brilliant tackle. It looked like a fantastic tackle. But, I've seen it slowed down. He did sort of go over a little bit. Both feet were off the ground. And you did see Grealish's sort of heel and foot sort of turned round Cooper's left leg. So, if that had happened against us, I'm sure maybe would have been a little bit aggrieved to it. But at the end of the day, it can go both ways. It did look like a brilliant tackle on the day. And then obviously it all kicked off, didn't it? The big talking point where Click scored, and it was actually a brilliant finish and something we've not seen enough of from Click. I actually want to divert back to the substitutions. I thought the substitutions from Bielsa worked really well. Berardi looked a lot more solid. He was bombing up and down that left-hand side. I thought Tyler Roberts on that left could be a game changer, guys. That could be an absolute game changer. Villa, and it was tactical because Villa looked weak I still think, as I've just said, the fullbacks are weak. And you saw when Clark destroyed them at Villa Park, they can be got at. And I do think that's a massive weakness. And Bielsa definitely saw that. He definitely pinpointed that. Tyler Roberts on cutting in on his right side looked absolutely phenomenal. Some dangerous balls in where, you've got gilt-edged chances for Bamford to finish. And I thought he was absolutely brilliant cutting in from that onto his right-hand side. And that's definitely something I would look at in the playoffs. You cannot play with Jack Harrison on that left throughout the playoffs for me. I don't care if he scored against Wednesday. I don't care if he's put some decent balls in, scored against Millwall. He's not good enough. He's not good enough for a top three side. So Tyler Roberts definitely made a massive difference when he came on. But yeah, anyway, reverting to the incident, Roberts, who I probably would say was more guilty than Click in this. The ball, he sort of drew Codger went down for the 45th time in the game. Roberts had the ball, and the old saying, playing to the whistle. Roberts kind of drew McGinn in, passed the ball. Click received the ball. To be fair to him, I don't think Click knew the extent of what was going on. And he's come out and said that. He received the ball, pinged it in the bottom corner, and you could see him after that. You could see him holding his hands up. Sorry. But it's just some of the reactions of, Hurahan, what is he doing? What is he doing? Grabbing Oldham by the scruff of the neck. Relax, mate. Relax. Jesus Christ. And all these people coming out and saying we're cheats. How are we cheats? We've gone and let you score a goal to reply. That's not cheating. Initially, the initial act, I can understand why everyone was upset. Gamesmanship. Exactly, I can understand that. But if all the Leeds players, I've seen some Villa Twitter accounts, there's some pretty big Villa, sort of channels coming out and saying, oh yeah, well Leeds are effing cheats, effing this, effing that. What are you talking about? If we were cheats, then we wouldn't have let you waltz through our team and score a goal. Yeah, Pontus Jansson, potentially that was wrong of him to try and kick it away. But at the end of the day, I'd love to see if it was the opposite way around. I'd love to see that. And would Grealish, would Mings, would McGinn, Hurahan, would they allow that to happen? That'd be interesting. I'd love to see that. And I'm probably going to get some dislikes on this video, but who's bothered? You come on this channel to give your real opinion. At the end of the day, I feel like in this video I've given Villa a little bit of a fair share, but the reaction, I understand. Listen, I understand it is complete gamesmanship, and we were all as shocked as Villa fans. But at the end of the day, guys, for you to waltz through and score a goal, and us letting you score a goal, no one's seen that before in the English game. No one has. No one's seen it. You look on social media, everyone's absolutely up in arms about it. But the absolute the sort of the afterwards about it, where Mings is coming up and he's even posted a picture of it holding Phillips and then holding, and no one can bully us. It's like, relax, Mings. All right, relax, mate. It's a game of football. You're not a UFC fighter. I know you think you're a big man, but come on. At the end of the day, guys, it's a game of football. And I think the only thing which sort of rattled me was just the reactions, and it was bad from us. It was 100% bad from Leeds. The whole play to the whistle thing. But if it had been on the other foot, we'd have been really upset by it, and I completely, thoroughly understand that. But some of the reactions, like John Terry, his reaction, just, mate, stop giving it with the moral compass. I'll give you a name, John Terry, Wayne Bridge, and you can just absolutely destroy your own moral compass, mate, because you haven't got one. And everyone knows in football, John Terry cannot say anything. As Craig Bellamy once said on Sky Sports, everyone knows what John Terry's like in football. So, just chill out there, John. Stop trying to give it the big one. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy with the performance. I will focus on Patrick Bamford as well. Bamford is in the wrong there. The dive, if that had been against Leeds once again, which I think is a massive thing to bring in, I think, you know, you've got to look at vice versa. If that had happened to a Leeds player, I'd have been absolutely fuming. Hopefully the red card will get rescinded, and I think it will get rescinded because that wasn't fair. But I do think, you know, some of the reactions of the players, you know, Hourihane, I'm really pinning out because it looked like it really sort of Hourihane kicked it off. He really did, you know. El Mohammadi rightly ran to the referee and was like, referee, what's gone on? El Ghazi did the exact same. But for Hourihane to go up to Click, literally getting by the scruff of the neck, way too far. And that's what started all of it off. That's what started all of it off. So actually, when you look back at the footage, it's not all just how it is. And I think you've got to give Click a little bit of leeway because he wasn't looking at what was going on. Roberts, I do think maybe a little bit susceptible to it because you could see him looking at Codger. Codger wasn't getting up. Click sort of had his body angle turned towards the goal anyway on his back foot. And I think, you know, Click went away. He apologised as well. So, but the whole fracas of Mings running 50 yards, Hourihane grabbing him by the neck, it's just, come on. You know, it's just ridiculous. But I feel that's a fair review, guys. At the end of the day, Leeds played really well. It was a game that didn't need to get to the dizzy heights that it did, you know, melee-wise, but both teams come out with the fair shares. I think Leeds deserved the win. I'm not sure we created enough to get the win, but that's how it is, guys. But it gives me a lot of hope going into those playoffs because at the end of the day, they haven't beaten us yet, and they're definitely, squad-wise, the best side in the division. They've obviously got Tammy Abraham to come back, but, you know, we've got the likes of Kim Al-Roof to come back, potentially Barry Douglas to come back. So we've got a lot of players as well, which could be in contention as well. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Villa fans, leave your comments in the section below. Let me know what you guys think as well, and I'll see you in a bit.